November 27th, 2017. Thank you for joining me at Evolutionary Energy Arts once again. Geologists just discovered this 260 million year old forest in Antarctica, and you can see the photo here of a 260 million year old tree fossil. So, thus proving at once time long ago, Antarctica was very, very green, very, very warm, and it wasn't all just a barren landscape of snow and ice. As we know, Antarctica has been a very, very interesting place, especially in the last year or two with everything going on down there. All the word of alien artifacts, pyramids, giants being discovered, and so on and so forth. So many different things happening down there. This is a purely scientific discovery, but it does bear fact that what we view as Antarctica was really very, very different at one time. So an interesting discovery nonetheless. So people have known about fossils in Antarctica since 1910, 1912, and the Robert Falcon Scott expedition. However, most of Antarctica is still unexplored in modern times, we should add. Sometimes you might be the first person to ever climb a particular mountain, and again, that would be in modern days. Definitely it's very, very harsh down there, although it is warming up and you have a lot of melting going on, which is leaving us with some very, very interesting finds, especially in the day of Google Earth now. So trees are estimated to have been around 260 million years old. Those are the ones that they've discovered the fossils of. And even though the trees died out many millennia before our ancestors were swinging through the treetops, they could provide some clues into how our landscape will alter as a result of human-induced climate change. Well, I don't really think, in my personal opinion, it's not mostly human-induced. It's just a natural cycle. Climate change is what happens in this planet. We have seen it. So the researchers believe that trees proliferated in Antarctica at the end of the Permian period, when the continent was warmer and more humid than today. At that time, Antarctica was part of Gondwana, which was a supercontinent spanning the southern hemisphere that included Australia, as well as South America, Africa, and India. But about 251 million years ago, the Permian period ended as the planet rapidly moved from icehouse to greenhouse conditions, bringing about a mass extinction which killed more than 90% of the species on Earth, including the polar forests. So, many scientists now believe this mass extinction was caused by a massive increase in greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide and methane, from a huge number of volcanic eruptions in Siberia. The forest is a glimpse of life before the extinction, which can help us understand what caused the event. The geologic records show us the beginning, middle, and end of the climate change event. With future study, we can better understand how greenhouse gases and climate change will affect life on Earth. The geologists also hope to get an insight into how hardy plant species survived months of sunlight followed by months of complete darkness in the polar region. There isn't anything like that today. These trees could turn their growing cycles on and off like light switches. We know the winter shutoff happens right away, but we don't know exactly how active they were during the summertime, and if they could force themselves into dormancy when the light was still out. And also NASA has released some photographs of the Larsen Sea iceberg that has broken off, and we can see some of those photographs. And really, if you see the history, change is the consistent thing that happens on this planet, and it might be the case with many other planets too. Here you can see Gondwana. So the continents of the southern hemisphere at one time all fit together, in which case Antarctica was farther north before they started to drift and separate. And here we could see continental drift of the plates. So 225 million years ago, Pangaea, and then 150 million years ago, it's shown in Gondwana as the separation between the north and the southern hemisphere continents started, and then they drifted apart and eventually got to where we are today, and they're going to keep drifting. It's just, it's part of what happens. Now, the extinction event, they believe, was caused by volcanoes going off, in this case, the Permian extinction, and from Siberia in particularly. And there have been actually 5 great mass extinction events going back in time here. The first of which, the Ordovician, 50% of animal families were extinct, including many trilobites. Then you have the Devonian, 30% of animal families, including many fish and trilobites. The Permian, 60% of all animal families, including many marine species, insects, amphibians, and all remaining trilobites. And then you have the Triassic, 35% of animal families, including many reptiles. And the Cretaceous, 50% of animal families, including the last of the dinosaurs and many marine species. And then scientists believe we are in another extinction event right now, the 6th. So what will we find in Antarctica as the ice melts? That's such an exciting and interesting thing to think about. For knowledge is definitely proliferating now with what we have available to us. But, you gotta wonder, who's been here before modern day humans? There are so many archaeological finds that we have discovered which just don't make sense. For instance, this hammer dates back 400 million years ago. So this will date back to the time of Pangaea, when all the continents were basically one supercontinent. And this was found in Texas, and carbon dating can be off, but it's coming in at 400 million years ago. And there are countless examples of this. So, who is to say how long intelligent beings have been here? We should probably say that, because perhaps intelligent beings have been here on Earth ever since the Earth formed. It could go back that far. I mean, there's so many other planets out there, so many other stars out there that are so much older than ours, that there could definitely be advanced civilizations that have come and visited here at the time of the dinosaurs, and even before the time of the dinosaurs. This right here, this footprint, which is gigantic, by the way, and would probably equate to a person being about 36 feet tall, this was found in South Africa, and this dates back 200 million years ago. So again, this goes way back. And who can deny that's a footprint? Do you think that it was a tree stump that kind of fell in perfect position and created this impression? No, that looks clearly like a footprint. And it's been dated back to 200 million years ago in South Africa. Pretty amazing stuff. So perhaps life has always been here. Perhaps this planet has always been watched, from way before humanity was ever here in this particular form. There have been humanoid creatures here perhaps as long as the Earth has been here. So what other exciting things will we find as we go deeper and deeper under the ice? And the ice melts in Antarctica. If you guys found this informative, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, so you get more updates, and then share so we can spread this type of knowledge out and around the world. We have to wake people up to the fact that what we've been taught in school is basically BS. It's mostly lies and just a story they want to tell us. Reality is far more interesting, exciting, and wild and crazy. So thank you for joining me once again on Evolutionary Energy Arts, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Take care.